Hi, my name is Lewinski, and I'm the author of a book about my traumatic brain injury and my path to recovery. I felt compelled to tell my story because it wasn't until after receiving my concussions that I realized how life-changing they were. It impacted my school, my work, my social life, my physical abilities, the way I thought, and my personality. Everything about myself was different, and it seemed the only people who understood had brain injuries themselves. To everyone else, I was fine. It felt like my whole reality changed, and I didn't know how to explain it to anyone. If people understood how devastating a simple concussion can be, I think the injury would be treated significantly differently. I luckily had friends who had concussions who led me through the healing process, advocating for me to go back to my doctors, to go to physical and cognitive therapy. If it wasn't for people helping me that actually understood brain injuries, I would have never recovered to the point I am now. That needs to change. I shouldn't have felt lost and hopeless during this injury. It's a failure of our medical system and our society to not take concussions seriously. I had received 3 concussions in the span of 4 months. It wasn't until after my second concussion had given me aphasia that I went in for help. I was in a meeting with one of my teachers and I couldn't respond to any of her questions. I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I could think the sentences, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't speak. I could mutter a few words here and there, but I was incapable of actually communicating what I wanted to. In the midst of the first few months of my recovery, I still expected a full recovery to come quickly. I looked at the rest of my life like normal. I started planning a backpacking trip for after my graduation across the Southern Alps of New Zealand. When returning to school the next semester, it was obvious that I couldn't graduate and recover. I had to reevaluate my entire life. I tried pushing through, and that only made my symptoms worse. It was like running a marathon on a broken foot, and I had to toss in the towel. This book explores the intersections of mental health, defining identity, and adventure. This book includes stories of some of my hardest struggles in my recovery, how I worked with my cognitive and physical therapists, and the epic traverse of mountain ranges. I think the most classic Claire story that I share in this book is when I forgot my hiking shoes on a shuttle. We had gotten caught behind a storm and had the choice to wait 4 or 5 days or take a shuttle around a section and miss a couple days of hiking. The gal I was hiking with and I decided to take the shuttle. I left before the crack of dawn. The night before we left, we had everything lined up by the door ready to go. We were dropped off at an outdoor school in the middle of nowhere. We had sent a food box there to resupply for our next location. It wasn't until we had reorganized our packs with our new food that my friend noticed that I didn't have my shoes. When she asked where they were, my stomach dropped. I had left them next to the heater to dry. It was such an obvious thing to need that I didn't even second guess that I would remember them. But there I was, with only my Crocs and over 300 miles of hiking left. I think that you will enjoy this book if you're overcoming hardships, if you're realizing your dreams, if you have a brain injury or know someone who has had one, if you're an outdoor person or just someone who recognizes the healing part of nature. I hope my book shows that as long as you have the will to keep fighting, you can keep going. I hope that it shows that ordinary humans are unstoppable. My name is Claire Lewinski, and my book is about fighting for yourself.